Friction, a type of property, rather interaction between two bodies in contact. Friction is considered to be boon and curse both. It's also known as eternal thing or evil as well. It's necessary for existence of life, and it also causes some losses in public life. Three types of friction. The second one is kinetic. Kinetic friction takes place only when the objects are in motion. A block has been placed on the surface. Till the block moves, kinetic friction got nothing to do. Soon as this block starts moving on the surface, that means the relative velocity takes place between the two. See, if I say this pen has been placed here, no kinetic friction. Soon as this starts moving, it has started sliding, then kinetic friction will come into play. This is the direction of a speed. This is kinetic friction. Kinetic friction does not depend on the speed, but this you can say for lower velocity only. Kinetic friction is always less than static friction. But when we say static, it must be maximum static friction. We can only say that kinetic friction is less than maximum static friction, or you might say limiting friction. Here you could write limiting friction. That is maximum static friction. When we increase the velocity, this independent that we said kinetic friction is independent of velocity, with the increase in velocity, this will no more be applicable. Then there is the case of rolling friction. Rolling friction. For kinetic friction, you can write the equation as we wrote in the case of static friction. Here, for normal reaction, we use the term N. This is for kinetic friction. Rolling friction, just suppose it's a wheel. It's some big tire of some large vehicle. If you just start rolling this, you push it tangentially, it will start rolling this way. Soon as rolling takes place, rolling friction will come into play. Rolling friction is the minimum friction. Out of three, rolling is the least one. So that way, rolling is easier. In rolling, there will be minimum loss. You must know. Friction is responsible for production of heat. When there is friction, it will result in production of heat. In rolling, since friction is minimum, there is minimum loss of energy. So it is said that rolling is the easiest motion. Now there are many things to be considered in general for all the three. Laws of friction and what are the factors that affect friction. Factors affecting the friction. One is the roughness of the surface. You go on increasing the roughness of the surface, friction will increase. You reduce the roughness, friction will decrease. If we use lubricants, it decreases the friction. If there is air gap, then also friction automatically decreases. Nature of surfaces also matter. For example, if it is zigzag type, the contact won't be so easy. In that case also friction will be variable. Now what are the laws of friction? Laws. Foremost law is that it is directly proportional to the contact force, reaction force. Frictional force is independent of contact area, independent of area. Area doesn't matter. sometimes misconception goes there, like this pen I am holding in the hand. Somebody feels that if contact is this way, contact area will be more. If contact is of this type, contact area would be less. But in both the cases, frictional force will be same because it's not going to depend on the area of contact. So when we proceed, we introduce one constant F equal to mu n. Depending on the type of friction, you might use here mu s for static, mu k for kinetic, and mu r for rolling. Remember, this equation is not vector equation. Why? Because if we apply here vector, here also, F and N both are never in the same direction, you see. This will be direction of N, normal reaction by the surface, and frictional force will be opposite to the direction of velocity. Now what you see, these two are never in the same direction. They are not collinear. They are neither parallel nor anti-parallel. That's why we can't say that this is vector equation. We never apply the vector. One more thing, if we combine these two, this is frictional force, this is N. The resultant of these two forces will be known as normal reaction, because frictional is horizontal here, normal force is this way. This angle between R and N, better to say it by lambda. I will use another color of pen just to show that this is lambda, this angle. This is known as angle of friction. Here we may find the value R cos lambda going to be N, R sin lambda, this is F, that is mu into N. You take the ratio, you find mu equal to tan lambda. Remember, this equation is also very important. Coefficient of friction is always equal to tan lambda. What is lambda? Lambda is angle of friction. Now certain applications of frictional force. Walking on the ground. When you are walking, you just apply the force from your feet on the earth backward, and that pushes you forward. Friction is responsible for production of this reaction. If there was no friction, suppose it's oily surface, you can't apply the force. So friction is responsible for your walking, for holding the object. At the same time, we must know there is some loss also, loss of energy because of wear and tear due to friction.